Hi guys, it's Jessica with Chapter Chicks, and today I am here to do my February wrap-up and my March to be read. I had a horrible reading month in February. I am still really behind in school. I don't want to say I'm necessarily behind, but I'm struggling to stay caught up with all of the reading on top of reading things that I actually want to read. If I could count the amount of short stories that I have read in this, I would have read my book goal by now. But unfortunately, I cannot. I can only count the novels that I've read. So I'm just going to get started with talking about what I read in February. So the thing that I had to read for school, I was actually wanting to reread at some point anyways. So I wasn't really complaining too much. But that is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I read this once in high school for a paper that I had to write and loved it. And I just gotta say, I loved it even more this time around. As an adult, I can appreciate the themes that were in it a lot more than I can when I was a could when I was a teenager. This is just a tiny little mass production paperback copy that has gotten trashed along the last month of me. But this is without a doubt one of my favorite books. I think my favorite part about it is Atticus and just Atticus's Atticusness. He is amazing. He's a wonderful parent, which was really interesting to read from that perspective. Scout is amazing. She doesn't seem like she's as young as she is in the book. And just the themes and the morals that go behind this are amazing. They make you question your own life and your own values and how you've been living your life. And for Harper Lee to write this book, it's amazing. It's definitely deserves to be an American classic. So if you haven't read this, read it just so that you can say that you have, because it's one of those cocktail party books. I'm like shaking the book as you read this. The next thing that I read in February was In Real Life. This is by Cory, Doctorow, and Jen Wang. This is a graphic novel. I have challenged myself to read 5 graphic novels this year, at least. So this is one of them. It's about a young girl who feels like a misfit, and then one day a guest speaker comes into her class and tells her about this online gaming community, which is basically games for it's not games for feminists, but it's gaming for feminists. It's like all of the characters out there are usually male. All of the badass characters are usually male. So she goes in and she decides that she wants to make women game characters strong. And I love this because I do love to play video games. I definitely don't have enough time to play any right now in my life. But when I was younger, before I had a kid, and before I had college, and probably later after my kid gets a little older and I'm out of college, I will pick video gaming back up. But it's a really, really fun, quick read. The pictures are amazing and hilarious. But basically this girl, she meets a gold miner in the game from another country and realizes how different countries and genders can be. And it's a very meaningful little graphic novel that I recommend everyone picking up because I thought it was a lot of fun. It only took me not very long to read it all. And I forgot to say this, I give this 4 out of 5 stars. So the last thing that I read in February was The Fifth Wave by Yancey. I've actually already read The Monstrumologist by Yancey, and I wasn't as big of a fan of that as I was of this. This was much better. This is it's a dystopian novel, but it's an alien dystopian novel, which is a lot more interesting, and I think a lot of other people are agreeing with me on that lately. Regular dystopia is kind of out, alien dystopia is kind of in, and this book is an amazing part of that. It switches perspectives from a bunch of different characters, and they're divided up each with their own chapter, and the chapters are titled and have their own name, and it's just, this book was really, really well done. It was really thought out, and at times it was a bit predictable, but I definitely really enjoyed it, and I've already purchased the second one, so I can't wait to dive into the rest of the series to see what else happens. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. It was definitely really, really, really well done, and I recommend it to anyone who is interested in that kind of alien kind of world. So let's just jump right into what I'm planning on reading in March. For school, the only thing that I know that I have to read is Slaughterhouse 5 by Vonnegut. This is for my Great American Novel class, and like I said in my haul, I really don't know anything about this book. I just know that it's a classic. I'm like 20 pages in, and I'm still really confused. So it's about the Dresden War, not the Dresden War, but Dresden, which I didn't even know was a thing. World War II in Dresden. Don't know. I'm reading it for school, so like I said, I'm not reading it as in-depth as I would if it was something for entertainment, which is interesting to say the least, because it seems like for school I would pay more attention, but when I'm reading something for school, I just can't focus. I want to read the things I want to read, not what somebody else is telling me I have to read. I also plan on finishing Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. This book, I don't understand it. I don't get it. This book is just a teenager whining. I don't get why this is so important. Maybe by the end, I stopped reading it and actually didn't even finish my homework for that week because I just wasn't into it and I just don't get it. Maybe I'm ignorant. I don't know. Maybe it wraps up in the end in this beautiful artistic way. But from where I'm at so far, it's just a teenage boy whining. And it's really annoying. I got my own things to whine about. J.D. Salinger. I'm currently reading for pleasure Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. This is about I wouldn't necessarily say dystopian or post-apocalyptic, but it's definitely set in the future where it's Darwinists versus clankers. There are people who they have crossbred animals and species to be useful. Like there's one that is the Leviathan that is a helium eater, and it is just a giant balloon that they can all live in, and it's an animal basically. I don't really understand it fully yet because I'm not too far in it. And then there are people who want machines and natural animals, and there is this young girl named Darren, who is impersonating a young boy in London to work on the airship. And then there is also the young king named Alec. He is not full-blooded royalty, and his parents got murdered, and together they somehow end up on this ship. And he's in hiding, and she's pretending to be a boy, and it's just really different now. I'm liking it, but the characters seem much younger than they are supposed to be, and that is one of my biggest pet peeves in books, because as someone who's not the young adult age anymore, reading a young adult book, they're already younger than I am, so it's a lot harder to picture myself in their shoes. But at the same time, when the characters act like they're 12 and think like they're 12 and are supposed to be 16, it's just even worse and harder for me to get into. But I am really enjoying this story so far. Finally, the last thing I'm hoping to get to in March is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. This is one of my favorite covers. It's just really beautifully done. And Jandy Nelson also wrote my favorite book of 2014, The Sky is Everywhere. The book is amazing, and if you haven't read it, go read it right now. I don't know anything about this book because I went into The Sky is Everywhere pretty blind, and I want to do the same with this one. But I know I'm going to love it just because Jandy Nelson is an amazing writer. So yeah, I'm really hoping I'm going to get to this and that this will help me read for pleasure, because right now I've been so into TV shows that I'm not reading very much. Even when I do have a spare moment, I'm watching The 100. It seems like everyone's watching The 100 right now. But I am watching it, and I love it, and I'm on season 2, and I'm trying to catch up to where Hulu has the episodes. I'm also watching Doctor Who, and I'm also rewatching Lost because it's been such a long time, and I'm really into that jungle survivor kind of thing right now. I just am into that. So if you guys know any books that are like that, let me know. I've actually ordered The 100 so I can read it. So, yeah, that is everything I've read in February, what I'm planning on reading in March, and that's it for this video. Bye!